The thing that hurts me most about philosophy is that uh, no matter how much knowledge I gain or how efficiently I gain it, there's still this perception of me that I can't overcome. And that perception, it warps not only the view of others, but my own of myself. So I'm never quite sure how intellectually keen I am, or what my knowledge and skills and expertise really stand in. There's like boxes that I'm afraid to go, even though I'm quite knowledgeable in it, because I know that no one seeks out those expertise. And because of it, I get frustrated and mad, and I say things um, like a kid throwing a hissy fit. I get those a lot because it's like I say it more articulate, but it's still the same thing. I'm just dissatisfied. And I'm like, I don't know why. I'm angry. I'm mad. But or maybe when I take the steps and walk back why I'm mad, it makes me sad. Like as a philosopher, I can't even coin myself as a philosopher. I have to wait until an institution says the degree that you have made has made you a philosopher. Hooray. And then I go, okay, what then next? What's the next step? Is it when I write a book? Is it when people are quoting my works or using me as reference? I think what gets to me is just these names and titles, but the positions still feel a bit of the same. Where if I'm not able to land positions, then the titles come to question. The degrees, the achievements and accomplishments I made feel like nothing. I can't feel happy about that. I go if I become a philosopher and I get a or get a bachelor's or make my philosophy specifically tied to civil engagement or civil rights or racism, well then I'm the racism philosopher. I'm the black philosopher. How many jobs is that really going to get me? With my white counterparts, there I'm just going to be used as the black philosopher. Here's the conference. Clap, clap, clap. We have a black guy. That's it. And I don't even know if I'm even going to get that position. There's always going to be someone who is better at appeasing or looks more appealing. And it's just like, then where do I sit? If I'm not even the best at um, doing the minstrel show, where do I go? I'm not quite good at anything. That's why I get frustrated. I'm not quite as good as I think. I'm not really good at being poor. I'm not quite good at being rich. At least I don't know because I've never been rich, but I don't handle poverty well. I get stressed out. I tried doing anything to avoid being poor. Like the way that I kind of waste resources, and I'm like, I won't do good being poor. Because it's like using it until it's literally you can't use it anymore. But sometimes I get sick of things. I say I don't want to eat the flavor of this food anymore, and I try to give it to someone else, uh, but because they're disgusted by me in some way, like I'm like I don't have any germs. I you know try to pass it down to family or friends, but I have very limited family, and of my family, they don't have the particular same taste. And friends, I have a few, but I wouldn't even say that. Like the truth is, I abandoned all my friends. all of the people that would be considered friends. And the reason why I did this was so I didn't lose myself. I was unable to be a friend to those who were close to me because I couldn't keep the facade. That I was hurting, that I was depressed, that I was angry. And it wasn't like, oh, friends pick you up. I knew that these people didn't know me. That if they knew what I was thinking, or if I was given the time or the resources, if I could explain or express what was going on in my life, I would come to realize that they're not my friends. They were just simply people in my proximity, but that wouldn't mean that we're friends. That I would actually dislike their behavior. I would say something negative about their behavior. I noticed that I grew up with no friends. I grew up with a lot of people that I was cool with, people that are acquaintances, people that I felt, but these people weren't really my friends. They weren't really someone that I would have put my life on the line for, or I would have, or maybe I would have put my life on the line. But it wasn't because they were my friends, it was because they were people. I realized that I was just treating anyone with base humanity as my friend. Anyone that I could share a laugh with was considered a friend. And they weren't. I would have gotten angry. I would have said my mind. I would have been able to ponder their actions. A lot of my the children that I grew up with said very racist things to me. Things that even now, like when we come back and they look at it fondly, I go, "You look at that fondly?" I might not say anything, but I don't say things to people who aren't my friends. I keep my tongue sealed. Who wastes that on people who aren't your friends? And individuals that could have been my friends. Some relationships I had dissolved. There was plenty of relationships, girlfriends or potential girlfriends, that I still sit there and kind of tear up. Not because like I wanted to be in a relationship with them, but because I felt like I made such a bad reputation, such a bad taste in their mouth of who I was because of what I was going through at the time. That they couldn't see who I was. That I wouldn't let people in. It was tearing at me. And I just, and I still won't get the chance to really say, and like that's why I write these books. That's why I'm like, please, I know that we can't ever see each other again. I know that I can't make up for that. And it's not about like it's me trying to let people know for no other sake than to give comfort, to say just so it's said. If it does nothing, then it does nothing. But on the off chance it does something, and it does something for me. If no one else, it just does something for me. If they don't care about it, then so what? They move on. But me, I get to relieve myself of this like pain where I had spent so much time with this identity, hating myself, hating that how it ended. And I'm like, I didn't even get to apologize. I can't lie to myself and say every past relationship, everything was them, because it wasn't. It never was, and I just didn't know what to say, and it still puts a chill. I still sit there and cringe. I still get angry. I still get bitter because like numbers in my phone and conversations and words never spoken. I never got to say I'm sorry. it was going, I was going through it. I'm still going through it. Like it makes me feel like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to tell you, chattel slavery has done irreparable damage to my mind and body to a point where it comes out in weird ways in any holes that it can escape. Because I could not naturally grieve like a human being. I couldn't naturally grieve because of the society that I was born into. And I have all this pain and turmoil, and I put some onto you just to survive, just to keep going. And now that I understand what I did, I have to wash my hands of it somehow. Like, I don't deny what I did, but I also don't want to keep beating myself up for it, but I don't want to act like I didn't do it. Like, if I deserve a punishment, then let the punishment come. You know, it's kind of like you play a role, you do something in life, and you might say there's other external things, but like you just want just punishment. You just want justice. I'm not looking for, oh, send me to jail for the rest of my life. Oh, I hate men. I hate all men. It's like, no. There's a reason why I did it. And I don't like that the reason had been created for me to do it. I don't believe myself an unreasonable man, an illogical man. It tears me apart that I keep reprogramming my brain to be illogical for the sake of someone else's greed. But it's not illogical, it's logical. Then my brain goes, oh, this is illogical. And then it goes, no, it is very logical. Someone somewhere did not take their consequence. And because of that, I had taken it. I was not used to love. My mother and father didn't teach me how to love myself. They taught me how to be a hard worker. They taught me how to be they taught me manners. They taught me how to count, how to talk, how to use a computer. They taught me many things, but they did not teach me how to love myself. And when you grow up not knowing how to love yourself, how to always put someone else first, putting your parents first, putting everyone else's need, you come out different. It's like even now I'm putting my own needs as well as someone else's needs. And this is the first time where I'm saying my needs. And yeah, I could see it helping others, but it's my needs. Like, I always feared my words because words will come out venomous the first time. I spoke bad about my professors, the people that I loved closest, because I felt like I could never really speak to them. And it grew into deeper and deeper resentment. The same way where I talk about white people. I could never speak about this openly to any white person. I don't feel like, hey, I can actually say these things and get a reasonable response. Like, hey, there's actually an action. There's something that can be done. All I'll get is like, oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, you shouldn't have to go through that. I'm like, yeah, thank you. You're the only person that I can see can actually functionally do something in this society, and yet I'm hearing sorries. Like I have to work 8 times more to then say, to convince you could do something. I said, is that the reason why I'm going for the degree? To convince somebody that they can do something? To beg and plead? You know, I sit there and I recognize like I'm always telling my traumas, my stories as like leverage. But has that improved anything? I've seen so many black movies and shows that are sad, that are unfathomably sad. Like they're just pain and trauma, and it's always trying to, in somewhat like add a white person to make it feel better, or just like say not all white people are bad, or I guess like I get it. In some movies that's necessary. But why is every movie like that? Why does every movie have to feel like it wraps it up nicely, and we just have to go through the pain or the pity? I want anger. I want all of my emotions. I want to be upset. I want to be bitter. I want to whine and complain and then come to the conclusion that like, hey, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. But I want that choice. It's always taking that choice away from me. Or saying this is right, this is wrong, and I'm like, why can't I come to that conclusion myself? I couldn't with all this other talk of humanity. You think I couldn't have figured out what the right course of humanity was? I didn't. I'm saying I've seen things that torment me, and I'm not sure who my proper group is to grieve with. I'm not sure who has similar stories that could comprehend why my pain is the way it is. Because it's not the pain of being the poorest. It's not the pain of losing all of your money. It's the pain of being on a track on a roller coaster that goes into oblivion and jumping off. It is the pain of being right, being correct, figuring out the video game, the courses, the continual trails, and always having to be witty and knowing that you're going to make the next right move that's going to save you, that's going to keep you going. To what? So someone can give me an award. Someone can say that I can speak at the valedictorian as the valedictorian, or maybe not. A speech that doesn't actually do anything, that just makes everyone feel good. If I were to tell people a valedictorian speech, I'll say, hey, that the degree is not the end. The degree is something. You know what I'm going to do when I get my degree? I'm going to laugh and I'm going to smile for an hour. I'm going to eat something that I deem really tasty. And then I'm going to sit there and do nothing. And then the next day, I still might feel the little electric shocks. And then the next day, it's maybe less. And the third day, I'm going to be scared. I'm going to be scared because I don't know what's next. I'm going to be scared because there's people are going to ask, what am I going to do next? Jobs and careers, or going to higher education. The degree means nothing. It's the pain. It's the pain and the success, the feeling that you had went through all of this and it was not suffering. It was hard work that paid off. That got you the intended result. Whether you become homeless after that, that's a whole different case. The degree does not shield you from homelessness. It does not shield you from getting beat or bruised. It just says you could get a degree and you did it. Now everything else is external. How much it costs, that has nothing to do with you. You could do it. If it cost $500 to get a whole bachelor's degree, you could have done it. If it cost $9 million, you can get it. So the question here is, why does it cost so much? You think others wouldn't have been able to get it too? Just to ask yourself, what is this degree worth? I think that I'm not a fool, that I don't fool myself in thinking that this degree is worth 50K if I only make $2.50 an hour bi-weekly. Even if I made $15, $17, $18, so $30K a year, $40K a year, that doesn't make it valuable enough. It's not. That if you try to make me think that that's how much it's valued, I'm going to sit there and think that I'm the smartest person in the room. That's why I see people walking around as if they know everything, because it costs that much. Something has to make sense. You have to feel elite about something. You want to stop narcissism? Stop making education seem so out of the realm. Raise the bar by lowering the bar. All these people are capable of doing a job, and it's made as some things are participation trophies, and other things are highly elite. And I'm not a fool for myself anymore. Like, I know that I'm not that smart. I know that when I go into these classes, they're condensing, or they're saying things by curriculum, a standard, that I don't have the time to really go in depth with the professor like I would like. That even if I got this master's or this bachelor's, master's, PhD, whatever, that doesn't mean I'm at the peak of intelligence. I saw a man who joined a club for being such a high IQ that he was like 2% of the IQ, 2% of the population, and he went to go commit murder, and he got caught. Well, allegedly, there's no physical evidence, but he poisoned Coca-Cola bottles. Whatever. Just goes to show, just like, what is intellect? It made me ask myself a question. There was another guy who was, true crime. He made fabrications about his life, and I realized I lied about my life. There's stories that I was telling people for years to make my life seem more interesting. And then when it got replaced with the actual interesting parts of my life, I just kept adding. And I'm like, I wanted to free myself. I don't want to lie anymore. Like, I think that I lied about my hardships because it made it feel justifiable for me to go through all this pain. It said maybe if I lied good enough, someone would actually care, and they saw all the things I went through, and they might give me a little bit more lenience. Or maybe it was that it doesn't even matter. No one seems to care if I add this or don't. The only reason I'm telling the truth is because I don't want to lie anymore. It's not that I expect, okay, I'm going to get famous, and then I'm like, if being famous built on a lie, I don't want to be famous. The hardships to keep it up. underneath the floorboards. But that means all of these lies. It's not just that. The lie that I don't hate all my professors. I don't hate a single person. I love everybody. I think that everyone has an interesting way, and maybe I don't agree with who they are, what they represent, but I acknowledge them as human, and I say I love that. I love that they live a life that is different from mine, that they can think in a way that is different from me, that they can be a person that is different. But do I have to like everyone? Sometimes it's the people that I'm closest to that I go and I ridicule the hardest, because I'm like, we're friends, we're family. I'm going to say something that I think is wrong and try to persuade you to do what I think is right. But there's a point where I go, you know what, I have to accept that you don't want to do this. I want to feel like there's a place where I can say this, and I can think about what I am going to say, and I can say it, and you can understand how or why I'm saying it. You can receive it. You can give me feedback on how to say it better, but you understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. I never had a place like this. I never had a place or home or people around me to give me this until I met my girlfriend. No, I had it before, but my cousins, my cousin, my uncle, my grandfather, they died. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if they really did it. That's the saddest thing when you look back to your own memories and say, was the love that I imagined love of myself? Something that I had loved myself and deluded myself? You don't understand how much that hurts, because like, I believe that I'm wrong. I believe, but when someone goes and lives such a hard life and goes through that much pain where everything needs to be questioned, can't even say someone loved you without not being sure. Because every time I made a decision in my life that I thought, this is relatively safe, this person I'm around is safe, these people are going to care for me, these people aren't going to leave me out to dry, a friend isn't going to shoot me, the people in my command aren't going to chastise me for getting shot. They're going to understand why I need protection, why I acted the way I did. They're going to understand why I was weird or strange or what I was suffering. They're going to ask me questions. You know, I had this girl in my command, and at first I think like every single lonely guy, you know, they see a woman, or like, especially in the military, you're just like, oh, female, woman, your eyes. But she has spent so much time like ridiculing me and chastising me, and almost like she do it to appease these other guys. Now, I don't know where she's at or what she's doing, and to be honest with you, it's not that I hope she's doing okay in life and she just, you know, became better for it. But I don't think so. That's sad. I think that, like, not only was she being very disrespectful to my emotions, why? Like, they would like my Tinder, and I didn't know what they really wanted, and it's like the bullying, the harassment is like, it's bad enough. I can rationalize things, and I can see things in a positive turn too, but I say that no one really showed up. No one knew what to say. No one grieved with me. No one, when I checked on people, when I tried to talk to people, when I tried, like, people would see it, but they wouldn't see that. I'm like, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best without losing myself. Like, I could have done better. I could have done better if I lost myself. I look at my professors when I go to school. I go, I would be doing everything you asked of me if I wasn't always fighting battles, having my whole life almost taken from me every 10 seconds. And you say that it's like if you think I'm advanced, why can't you believe me? Oh, there's going to be other students. It's going to be other students that have it difficult. I've heard that everyone else has it so difficult. I'm like, then why don't you help them? And then when you're done helping them, help me. Why does it feel like nothing gets helped? I'm never on the list. I'm never on, like, when I'm on the list, when I'm first up, I'm so thrown off because, like, I've never been the first. And when it's the first, when I was shot, I still gave people the front of the line because I was like, I can't. I'm not that. I couldn't even accept help. And all I get is, that's so sad. Like, the help that I need is to not even be in the list, just getting help. No one asking me, just providing the resources and just leaving me alone. But no one does that. See, they gotta tell me what they're doing for me. They gotta tell me how they're helping me. They gotta tell me what they've done for me. And I sit there and I gotta think, wow, you're helping me? Yeah, I couldn't imagine if socially and economically I was left alone and I didn't have to, my ancestors and everyone around me didn't have to be subjected to mental and physical torture for years. That they had to psychologically be broken over and over again. And finally, and then develop the language just naturally while survival tactics, and become articulate enough to sell stories that make people feel moved enough to push few to do extreme things that make extreme change, or at least extreme in those small numbers enough to make a noticeable ripple for a sizable population. One or two laws put in place that just make it just a little bit easier for us to survive. I'm supposed to clap and cheer as if the laws and the rules could not just have been readjusted or just written all together to protect me. I have to say thank you. I have to be grateful. And I can't be angry. Like, you will see in my earlier works that I'm angry and I'm saying things to people about people that I don't even know. Every time I get sad, I'm making very expression and very passionate work because I'm finally at the end of my rope. But I'm like I always have to watch what I say. I always have to watch what I say. And and the difference between me and my white counterpart is that sometimes when it comes to it, they don't have to watch what they say because they don't have anything else to say. They don't have anything. What they would have to say on these topics is just regurgitated. What my colleagues, what I'm hearing. I'm sorry. I just go, you wasted your breath saying all that. You could have let me on stage and protected me, taken some bullets from me so I could say what needs to be said, and then my life, could have been taken. I could finally been at rest, but no. I'm always waiting for someone to save me, to give me the opportunity. When I try to make and forge the opportunities myself, when I'm like, I think that if you give me the right resources, the things that I was entitled to all together, I would have played the game by your rules and have already excelled. The only way that anyone can win this game is by keeping people down that can actually play the game by the rules and win and make it. That are smart enough and articulate enough, are savvy enough, who are just born to the right resources and of the moral and ethical and physical and all the other aspects needed. You understand that you can't just, Jesus doesn't just pop up. Like, I was like, if you nuke the earth and none of the earth, all the earth is scorched, what is Jesus supposed to do? Is Jesus supposed to come? Who is he going to save? He's going to save us all. Who's there left to save? Is it going to be right before the nukes? That's when Jesus is going to save us? Is going to be you and specific? I just go that I think that people want to exclude themselves from consequence. But I also think that they want to exclude themselves from success. With success comes pain. Because, like, I don't want to be successful if that's what it takes. If I have to keep being successful over and over again for basic nutrition, I can't just say, okay, what's my next success? What's my next move? I think that the reason why it sucks is, like, you can't really go back. Once you made a success in one way, it's very hard to become successful in a different way. And that's what stinks. You have all these people, actors, movie writers, design set creators, dressmakers, business owners. You have people that basically just want to play a big game of Barbie and dress them up. And that's what they want. And they think that these are the selective, these are the best, these are the most human. They make movies that are thrillers and romance and horrors because these are all the emotions. Every other emotion is not a human emotion. It's seen as bad, or it's like righteous anger or pain or it's just like this. Love is always something that's on topic. Pleasure is always seen as something in the realm of lust. Why can't there be a movie of pleasure that isn't inherently sexual? That you can watch a movie of non-sexual pleasure. You can watch someone get a massage and it doesn't feel wrong or icky. That it doesn't have to be super comical. Like, you could see someone take something, like it's not taken seriously, but it's not played for as a joke. Like, you could see a movie about trauma, but it's not there to make you weep. It's just there to speak about it. Like, how can someone tell a story where everything is made to amp up into the highest and most extreme emotion? But sometimes some stories are supposed to just leave you there to think, to just not feel good. Something that's not supposed to make you inspire you, want to make your own character, want to live in that universe. Sometimes, like at least in my writings, I don't make characters that you want to live in. You don't want to be them. Not that you hate them. It's not that you want to be their friend or you acknowledge them as who they are and what they've gone through. You're not you're not trying to change them. You're trying to change a situation that could make them again. I I think that that's the beauty of some stories. That like Snowfall or The Wire, but or at least a lot of the animes I watched. Eventually, I got to a point where I stopped wanting to be the main character. I just wanted to be myself. I said I'll take a bit of here and here and here. And eventually, you take enough pieces where you built a pretty good image of yourself. That's where I'm at with my life. And I think that some professors say, "Oh, you still got to keep going," or some people in your life sit there and I know that like I should be peers to some professors. I should be able to. I'm not saying in the same exact way. Like, hey, there's some teaching things. There's something always to learn. But sometimes I need to be in a teacher role, and I shouldn't have to um, get all the way this high, like to where they think that's high. Sometimes it's just like you need someone to listen to you and say, hey, we can't get this high. Not because we don't want to. We were in a divot. We had to climb the equivalent of Mount Everest in a hole form, in a cave form, crawling all the way just to get to you on the surface level. To me, my starting line near the crust of the earth. So to me, I've already surpassed you thousands of times. But to you, you perceive it as, oh, now we're both on the same starting line, or I'm on top of this mountain. I'll say like you rock climbing with gear and rope. It's difficult. It's like getting on top of a mountain. That's difficult. But like me, when I had to crawl with my fingers, my bare hands, maybe some spare rope, that's not clean or fresh, and I had to climb all the way up just to stand there, and you can acknowledge like, oh yeah, that climbing down there is probably difficult. But you say, I know a difficult climb because I had to climb in low altitude and, got lightheaded. I'm like, I had to climb in the heat with nothing and to teach myself. And it's like, you're not even willing to learn that. I know it's not the same because like people aren't willing to go through that same experience. And how I know that is because like when I hear people say, we can't do that, think about the children. I go, think about the children. The children soldiers too. Let them come. Because for me, in the black community, we always it's always talked about like how bad we are to the children, but never really talked about is like why the children get treated like this in the first place. Because children were never spared in the black community. They were always seen as men. They were always used as cattle. At 13 years old, they could have been killed and slaughtered the same way as at the 30-year-old adult. So there is no kids. When you subject the kids to witness the murder and the brutality, when you don't assure their life or safety, when you don't have verbal consent that this is where they're going to be safe and remain as children and protected from these issues and problems until this specific age, there is no children. You say, oh, we already have that. No. You see children go to CPS, they get raped, they get molested, they often have to find their own food and clothing, and they can be put into homes that aren't really checked. So that's way too much work for a child. That's an adult. That right there is an adult. That right there is an individual that has to take care of themselves. So I don't want to hear a conversation about white people and their children, because like we don't have children. I don't see the equivalent. Every other race gets to have children and connections and grandfathers, and even in the most abused, marginalized communities, I say that I don't have stake to my land. I don't have stake to anything. I don't have anywhere to go. I have no councils. I have no groups. No other marginalized groups have the ability to take care of us. All I have is to be under my oppressor. And everyone sees how they walk with me with a leash on my around my neck. I'm supposed to say, it's like, and I try not to say the thing that I truly think that I have it the hardest. Like I don't have any history. I don't have anyone. I don't even have people that can look like me, speak like me, talk like me, because like even that is scattered. The only people that truly talk like me are the immediate families, because of all the broken English, the spots, the displacement. At least you have a homeland to fight for, a place. But all I know is the place that had beaten me and raped me, and I don't have anywhere else. If I go to Africa, it's like, what am I supposed to do there? I don't have any memories. I don't have the few last words. I can't visit the graves of my people there. I gotta say, years where even the DNA connection is just barely, it's just a phenotype. No one knows that pain. No one knows that pain. Because it's like, you're right. There's like I know I don't belong here, but I belong here. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? I see the indigenous people, at least the indigenous people of America, I go, some kept us as slaves, or enslaved us. They are victims. They deserve their land back. But would they allow us to stay on this land? Would they kick us out? Would I do the same? And I don't even know. I've never got to sit down and have a conversation. If I had leadership, there's no council. Heck, our council, the NAACP, has white people in the council, in the group. I can't say, hey, maybe who is the leadership, who's the names and companies and businesses, like any foundation that got merchandise. And it's like okay, it's one thing to have like mugs and cups, I get it. It just feels weird. And it does. It puts a bitter taste in my mouth. Like I know that I don't even have the qualifications to stand up to any of this, to even talk. Like I don't want to talk, because like I feel like not only would I be verbally outmatched, that I'm going to get out there and instead of actually quelling my issues, I feel like I'll just become embarrassed or ashamed. I'd just be like, oh, I didn't think about it that way, but I feel like it's still, or I don't know. I'm always just feeling like I'm dumb for what I'm saying. I always just feel like I'm so dumb. I need more than just a few passerbys, their words saying that, oh, you have a point. I need something solid, something that can keep me going. With that being said, I'm done.